250 grand, about 122 grand, the costs to develop out that mobile backend. Once it's been deployed and it's in production environment, you need IT resources to manage it, to monitor it, to make sure the security, standards are up to snuff, patch upgrades, and so on. So our assumption is 15% of a single IT operations guy, 3-4 hours a week. It's another 22 grand. Now, as we heard before, getting the first version of the mobile app out is great, but like anything, it's evolving and it's living and breathing as you get customer feedback, fixing defects, and so on. So assuming 3 revs a year, i.e. a new rev every 4 months, and each rev being about 25-30% of the initial costs, that's about 30,000 of the 122, 3 times a year, another 90 grand. So basically, if you add up just the server-side costs, I'm not including here the client-side development costs, so just these components, for such an application, you're at about $250,000 for that 1 year, for that one app, on a supporting a single mobile device on a single platform. So, I'm sure there are people here who could say, well, I could do it for much cheaper, probably can. And I'm sure there are people here who could say 250 grand seems very small. In our organization, it was 3 million. But my point is just to give you an illustration of a typical, if there is such a thing, example. So the other question then is, well, all right, what happens if we do exactly the same thing, but instead of procuring the hardware and putting that in our own data center, what happens if we do the same development work from a server perspective, but we actually deploy it over a rack space or an Amazon IaaS system? Well, clearly, the majority of your costs are unchanged, right? The only real saving is when it comes to the, well, in fact, if you look at the numbers, it's actually very little saving. Obviously, you don't have the IT operations cost.